Welcome to Mastering Life's Adventures, an educational podcast about tapping into your true self, the soul, the substance of your life, to discover what life's ups and downs are really about, and how to have a greater sense of purpose, peace, joy, and fulfillment. I am Dr. Judith Holder, your host, coach, psychologist, fellow seeker who enjoys diving into the connections between spirituality, psychology, wellness, and your everyday life's adventures. All preparing and polishing you like the facets of a magnificent diamond to be your best self. If you're craving more from your life, you are in the right place. Come, let's journey together and transforming what you know into who you really are. Mastering Life's Adventures begins now.
December is a symphony of sound. Bells ringing, people laughing, music playing, traffic rushing. But beneath all that sound, there's a silence. Not the silence of emptiness, but of essence. Because your soul doesn't sing at the volume of the world. It hums at the frequency of peace, love, joy, contentment. So, what if the holiest part of this season isn't in the music or in the lights, but in the stillness between them? And you've heard me talk about stillness and talk specifically about still, which is stay tuned in light and love. I'm taking this now from a different angle. And it's really, I would like to explore the silent flame, finding stillness in the season of sound. I'm back with another key to soul progress. And this one is a bit unusual. Especially during the holidays. It's about stillness, the kind that doesn't fight the noise, but listens through it. You see, while the world celebrates outwardly, the soul celebrates inwardly. The holidays, from a soul's view, is not about activity, but about alignment, about reuniting with the divine peace, the divine love, the divine truth, that silent flame that burns deeply in the heart, no matter what storms rage outside. So we'll unwrap this idea through 4 keys spelled as gift, G-I-F-T. Because stillness, when you practice it, becomes the greatest gift of all that you give to yourself and you give to others. Let's begin with G, gratitude, which I want to talk about as the gateway to the flame. And our story begins in a small bakery 2 weeks before Christmas. A young woman called Tessa was working late, exhausted, trying to keep up with the orders. Her phone buzzed constantly, text messages, holiday deals, reminders. She burned her hand on the oven and finally snapped, "I can't do this anymore." She turned off the music, put down her phone, sat on a stool near the window. Outside, snow falling quietly. And for the first time that season, she breathed. Looking out at the street light shimmering on snow, she whispered, "Thank you. Help me to continue to be centered in you, my Lord. Help me to not be so caught up with the hustle and bustle of things that need to be done." And she didn't even know for what. Just thank you. And all these other ideas came to her. And at that moment, something shifted. The noise faded, her body softened, and she felt warmth in her heart and her chest, like a candle being relit. That's the first step in stillness. Gratitude. Gratitude opens the door to divine presence. You can't enter silence from frustration, but you can enter from thanksgiving. In the Bible it says, "And in everything give thanks, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus concerning you." Gratitude reorients your soul to light. It pulls you out of the rush and back into the rightful rhythm of your soul. The second gift is inner listening. I've talked about inner listening before, but I'm talking about it now from a different angle. And that is hearing the whisper within. And this inner listening, you can think of it from Kings, for example, 1 Kings 19:12, that says, "And after the earthquake a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire, a still small voice." That's the voice of divine guidance. It doesn't shout, it whispers. It gives you a prompting. So this story is about, I'm trying to put things in stories more. So this story is about a man called Caleb. Caleb was a musician, a classical musician. And every December, his band played concerts across the city. But lately, the music felt flat, empty. He couldn't hear beauty anymore, just noise. One night, he stayed behind after rehearsal. Everyone left, and the church sanctuary fell silent. He sat at the piano and played one slow, small note, then another, and then he asked God to fill him with his presence of peace, to reignite him in the aspirational nature of the music he was playing. And as he hit that simple note, then another, the sound echoed through the empty room, pure and unhurried. And at that moment, he felt something stir in his soul, a quiet presence he hadn't felt in years. He realized that he had been playing for applause, not for connection. In the stillness, he heard the whisper, "Play for me." His soul, the inner Christ, the I am presence, the Lord, the Creator, was saying, "Play for me." That's the power of inner listening. When you turn down the volume of the world, the voice of spirit rises. Inner listening transforms activity into communion. Now the F is related to faith of the gift. Trusting the light when you can't feel the heat. As you know, the holidays can also stir loneliness and loss. Marjorie, an elderly widow, had lost her husband the year before. The house was silent, and she dreaded Christmas morning. On Christmas Eve, she lit a single candle beside his photograph. She said, "Lord, I can't feel joy right now, but I trust you're still here." Something remarkable happened. She felt no dramatic warmth, no rush of emotion, but she noticed the candlelight didn't flicker. Even as the air vent blew nearby, it stayed steady. That was her lesson. Faith is the steady flame when feelings fail. Faith keeps the light alive when life feels cold. It's the trust that divine love hasn't left, even when the music stops. The soul doesn't measure faith by emotion. It measures it by endurance. That's how the silent flame burns, quietly, faithfully, and undiminished. The tea and gift is tranquility, and I call this the practice of holy rest. Tranquility isn't about escaping the noise. It's about finding stillness within it. There's an old saying, peace doesn't mean a life without storms. It means finding calm in the midst of them. And here's a story. Let's call her Nina. And she's a mother of 3. Felt like her house was a whirlwind of kids running, dinners burning, phones ringing. One night, she locked herself in the bathroom for 5 minutes to breathe. She sat on the floor and whispered, I can't do everything, but I can do this moment. She began to breathe slowly. And in those moments, she found the holy rhythm of surrender. She relaxed her body. She breathed deeply. She asked God's guidance for inner peace and helping her with her daily activities. And just taking those 5 minutes to be with herself, be with understanding her inner guidance that was there to help her through her soul, through Christ, through the Lord. She created space. And when she emerged, her children were still loud, the dinner still chaotic, but she was different. Tranquility wasn't the absence of noise. It was the presence of peace. Stillness had found her. The soul experiences the holidays not as busyness, but as balance. And every time you pause to breathe, you tend the inner altar where the silent flame burns. So this gets me to how the soul sees the holidays. And here's some food for thought. To the soul, the holidays are not about time. They're about timelessness. Every light strung on a tree is a reflection of the inner light longing to shine. Every gift exchanged is a symbol of a greater gift, the self-giving itself in love. When you feel scattered, remember the outer celebration is only meaningful when it mirrors the inner one. The soul doesn't celebrate with noise. It celebrates with awareness. When the soul looks at the holidays, it doesn't see stress or expense. It sees opportunity to forgive, to connect, to awaken gratitude, to serve in a quiet, loving way, or being an example of divine love, of giving from the heart, of seeing people. And when you see them, you bless the Christ within them. And when you see them downtrodden, you lift them up by a smile or by a kind word. The soul says, peace is not the absence of motion, but the mastery of presence. And when you live from that still flame, every light twinkles brighter, every carol rings truer, and every moment becomes holy. Take a breath with me right now. Inhale. Exhale. Imagine a candle in your heart. Glows steadily, golden, gentle, pure. This is your silent flame. It's never gone out, not once. It's the divine spark, the Christ light, the eternal awareness of who you are. And as you go through this season, shopping, wrapping, cooking, celebrating, pause for 3 seconds before you do a new task. Just 3. Breathe and remember the flame. That's the practice. That's how the soul stays awake. By your intentionally allowing yourself to take those 3 seconds and breathe and smile and see that flame burning on the altar of your heart. And it is the true gift of gratitude, inner listening, faith, tranquility. These are the 4 letters of your spiritual gift. The holidays are filled with presents, but the presence you carry within is the true offering. So as you celebrate, remember the words of Psalm 46, verse 10. Be still and know that I am God. Because in stillness, you don't just find peace, you find presence, the I am presence, the presence of your Lord, the presence of your Creator. And the silent flame of your soul burns brightest in the quiet spaces of your heart. Fill that space with light. Fill it with warmth. Fill it with the glory of God. And know that by these intentional acts that you're engaged in, will allow the soul to continue to evolve and grow, allowing you to have greater inspiration in the midst of the busyness and the hustle and bustle. And knowing that your soul is on a spiritual path to grow and uses all experiences to expand. Even in those times in which during the holidays you may have family members that are trying or difficult or tend to see the downside of everything. How not to get caught up in that, which is you give it to that person, you leave it with them. If they want to be annoying or controlling or angry or moody or whatever it is that they're bringing into your experience, you can still greet the Christ within them and say, I greet the Christ within you. And I am upholding the beauty of this season, the beauty of seeing you in your highest good, regardless of whether you're able to do it for yourself. This is what you're saying internally to yourself. Because some individuals, because of their life experiences, don't like the holidays, don't like the season of Christmas, or the various seasons in which people celebrate. That's okay, but it doesn't have to rain on your parade. What it does allow you to do is take the opportunity to bless them, to send love, to send peace, to send harmony to them. And let them do them as you do you. Because what you're doing by honoring the goodness within them, you are honoring the goodness within you. And then you're using that gift of gratitude, inner listening, faith, and tranquility as a gift that you are giving consciously, intentionally, and allowing God to do its mighty work, his or her mighty work, in the situations that you find yourself in during the holidays. So remember, take 3 seconds periodically throughout your day as you're moving through the holiday season and breathe. Breathe in the joy, the peace, the harmony. Breathe out the stress or the confusion or the chaos, and just be with yourself. Be with yourself and be willing to go into the bathroom like Nina did and just sit for 5 seconds or 5 minutes and center yourself, knowing that God is the flame within our heart and is always trying to guide and help us when we ask. If you've heard me say in past episodes, the call compels the answer. If we do not ask, if we do not pray, then it's as if the angels are on the sideline, waiting for us to be able to ask so we can swoop in and help us change our vibration, change our thoughts, change our feelings. We can find ourselves becoming more inspirational in the moment. And in that point of inspiration, we're finding ourselves to be more joyful, more ability to let things roll off our back that doesn't bother us during this busy season and time. Gives us an opportunity, as I said earlier, to forgive, to connect, to awaken gratitude, to serve in a quiet way, in a loving way, to give of our talents to others. And the gift that we give is the gift that allows others to feel a greater sense of their presence, because we're cultivated our presence, our soul, our inner Christ, our inner awareness of the trueness of who we really are. And in fact, the gift is being our best self in all situations. Something to think about. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining me for this episode on Mastering Life's Adventures, being your best self through soul evolution. If you have enjoyed what you've heard today, I would be delighted if you would share this episode with others, leave a thumbs up, and subscribe to my Mastering Life's Adventures podcast. Look forward to your joining the next episode. Please leave any comments or suggestions you might have below. Bye for now.